look, I'm gonna let you. I think that we might be. I think I'll probably just take whatever the opposite position of yours is, just for funds. But before we do that, we got to welcome in Meredith McCalmon, ACP Reporter of the Year and Breaking News Story of the Year finalist for the American Collegiate Press Association. Meredith McCalmon, how does that feel?
Pretty good. I mean, I don't know. I worked for my college newspaper, the K-State Collegian, shout out, for 4 years. And so, like, being recognized for some of that work kind of post grad is really cool. So thank you for
Well,
recognizing that.
And it was her birthday this week. She had a lot going on.
Yeah, man. It's been a banner week for you, Meredith.
Yeah, it really has.
I mean, new phone, new car.
Oh, true. Thank goodness, not new car, new tire, but you
get it.
Might as well.
Anyway, now that we've made sure that everybody knows about the greatness and awesomeness of Meredith McCalmon, because for real, let's do the music.
Let's do it.
Yep, dance, Meredith.
I promise we were dancing. I was dancing.
Meredith was definitely dancing. Say hi, Henry.
The cat was dancing. Let's
That's
go.
right. So first off the bat, and why 2 reasons we have Meredith here. The first thing is that she just got back from a Homes for Heroes event over there in Crestview for a young soldier who has come back from war, had a hard go after seeing a lot of combat. So Meredith, how was this thing? What was it like?
It was really cool. So this morning, Building Homes for Heroes is a nationwide organization, not just here in Florida. They're working towards dedicating 500 new homes to veterans. I think they're about to hit it. I think they only have 1 or 2 more homes left until they hit 500 since their organization started. But this morning in Crestview, they gifted a brand new home to a former Army Staff Sergeant named Christopher Williams. He saw 3 tours in Afghanistan and Iraq, and he saw just really the horrors of war, everything you can imagine, from gruesome injuries to people he was really close to dying in combat. And that PTSD and that mental struggle, as well as the toll of, some of the physical injuries he sustained, really took a toll on him and his family as soon as he came home. And so Building Homes for Heroes, they partnered with a lot of organizations, but specifically at today's dedication, I think Lowe's was there helping set up. JP Morgan Chase was a big sponsor, SAIC. And so with the help of those organizations, they were able to renovate and gift a brand new home mortgage-free to Christopher and his family. So I got to see their reaction to walking into their new home for the first time. And it was just really cool to see them kind of get that peace of mind of, hey, if I am struggling in the future, at least I know me and my family has somewhere to be. So, yeah.
It's really cool. And so you'll have that story out probably this afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of photos, a lot of emotional things to hear from the family and the people that were there. And then the other story you've been working on, Norreigo Point, man. We just can't get enough Norreigo Point around here at Midday News. So what's the latest on this?
Yeah, so the most recent action, no official action technically, but the City of Destin and Okaloosa County commissioners, not the full panels, but there was a couple people from each side who met publicly last week, and they held kind of just like a public forum and invited Destin and Okaloosa County residents to come forward and express some of their concerns. It seems like a lot of the Destin residents are mainly in support of Norreigo Point being managed by the city. At least every single person that came forward at this public forum was kind of arguing for that. John Hofstad, who's the county administrator for Okaloosa County, essentially informally agreed to present a proposal to the board of county commissioners, kind of outlining an agreement that would grant the City of Destin jurisdiction over the Holiday Isle property in exchange for free parking at all paid city parking spots in Destin. So basically, John Hofstad said that the county's main concern is really parking in Destin. So they're really trying to work towards an agreement where the City of Destin would grant free parking to county residents. not just at Norreigo Point, but all over the city. But a lot of residents, it seems like, are kind of coming forward and saying like, hey, this is, deeper than just the free parking issue. Namely, I think a couple residents, Alan Osborne spoke at the meeting, as well as Jean Early, are frustrated with commissioners kind of going over their jurisdiction, if that makes sense. Public records have kind of revealed that, hold on, let me make sure I have the right name. I don't want to say wrong names. That would be bad.
That is a healthy way to go about business. Just so we're clear, I am so happy that you would do that instead.
Yeah.
Ball.
But so essentially, what the city, as well as public speakers that came to the meeting, were alleging is that commissioners, namely Drew Palmer, had agreed to a previous proposal that the city had made. And he had said that he would go and take it and present it to the board. And then that just never happened. So that was a reason why a lot of residents were upset. Palmer actually responded at the meeting. He got up during public comment and he said that basically, to his understanding, the agreement that he had made said that he would place the proposal on a BCC meeting agenda if it was approved as negotiated. And so I guess the proposal that was given to him wasn't what he had agreed upon. And so that's why he didn't place it on the agenda. So now really the issues going forward that are the biggest things that the county, as well as the city of Destin, will have to consider are how they're going to use the land. Should the city of Destin be allowed to manage it, which is kind of what it seems like they're leaning towards if they can get that free parking agreement figured out. They're really going to just have to figure out how they want to use that land. Hofstad said that in conversations with the state, it seems like the state of Florida wants to kind of develop it a little more, make it a public marina. Even at one point, they had proposed a sewage dump site. That I don't think that was taken very far, but the issue is that land is zoned for conservation. So for them to come in and develop it and build public use sites would be, they would have to bypass those limitations, I guess, which technically I do believe the state has authority to do. It would just, probably come at the expense of a lot of people's positive feelings about this, I would say.
What you're trying to tell me, I think, is that people might get angry.
Yeah, people probably will get angry. And obviously, there's some merit there. This land has been essentially untouched. It's kind of one of the last undeveloped areas in that Holiday Isle property. So, but the next steps are they're going to hold a meeting. I believe they said it has to be within 50 days of the last meeting, which was, I believe, a week ago. Yes, a week ago tomorrow.
I saw something come across the wire that says they're going to have another meeting on September the 16th, I believe.
Okay, so that will be a meeting where they would actually take action. The meeting facilitator kind of described this last meeting as like a brainstorming and like idea forming meeting. And then at the next meeting, it will be the whole board, both the entire Okaloosa Board of County Commissioners, as well as the Destin City Council will come together and hopefully actually formally take action as far as who's going to manage Norreigo Point.
Got it. And so next steps are they have that action meeting. Anything else that you see that is pertinent to what's going on here?
I found it interesting. One of the more interesting pieces of, I guess, evidence that was presented at that meeting was Dr. Larry Jones, the Destin City Manager. He read from a letter that was written, I'm going to read verbatim here, that was written by Commissioner Craig Coffey. He wrote this to the Florida's Department of Environmental Protection. And essentially, this is evidence backing up the city's claim that Okaloosa County is trying to bypass some of those environmental protection laws. Because in that letter, Mr. Coffey essentially struck through the part saying that they needed to follow the regulations, I guess, if that makes sense. So it's not like an argument that's coming out of nowhere, a fear that's coming out of nowhere. It's something that they're seeing commissioners maybe try to kind of curtail those regulations a little bit.
Got it. Well, Meredith McCalmon, she's going to be on this and on a bunch of other stuff over the next couple of weeks, so we'll probably have you back on here pretty soon. Thanks so much for being here, and happy birthday week.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye, Meredith.
Bye, guys. Thanks for having me.
All right, Paul. So here's the big deal, man.
Jeez,
The Wawa cometh, my guy.
that's a
Finally.
great drone shot you got there. That's awesome.
Local boy makes good every once in a while. But yes,
Yeah.
the Wawa has opened after several delays and moaning and wailing and gnashing of teeth from the Wawa deprived public. It is open as of this morning. I'm happy to report, Paul.
What a crazy situation. There were like multiple missteps in the construction, like leaky gasoline things being buried and contractors having to dig it all back up and put it back in. And that kind of created this froth of interest. When's it going to open? When's it going to open? I think it's a little weird that our community is so excited by a high-end gas station. I know our friend Jersey there is the most excited. I'm glad he was person number one. But yeah, I mean, it's fine, whatever. Like this is small town stuff, and the high end Wawa, and the whole like Busy Bee. What's the other one with the beaver
Buc-ee's.
Buc-ee's? Everyone gets spun up about Buc-ee's. So welcome to United States consumerism in the South. We get excited for stuff like this.
5 out of 5 stars. It's fine, whatever. Paul S. on Amazon or on Google reviews. So,
I'm glad it's open. Now we can worry about the next thing that Mr. Pat Burns going to green light to be built on his property.
Exactly.
So.
Well, moving from there to national news, Dolly Parton has passed away.
Yeah.
This was it was a big story on our website. I thought it was interesting that did so well. But I guess it makes sense. Dolly Parton means a lot of things to a lot of people. And so sad thing, but also the passage of time. It stops for no one.
Yeah, this is one of those cases where like I think she might be one of the last people that's beloved holistically in our culture. She was just an amazing woman who provided so much value to others. And what I thought was super interesting is people were asking whether they were going to close Dollywood or not, kind of in remembrance. And I guess she had stated that when she passed away that the show must go on. And so they did not close Dollywood. Yeah, I don't know. People definitely want to politicize this still, like even her death. But I do think she's one of the last people to be beloved by kind of all political sides and all different types of people.
Well, speaking of things that are not beloved by all political sides or some political sides, or depending on where you stand is where you sit or whatever, flock cameras, Paul. Walton County Commission said, no mas. We're getting rid of them on our right-of-way. I've put in a request to the Walton County Commission to ask them, hey, how many is that exactly? There's roughly 106, I think was the exact number, 100-ish ALPRs in Walton County. Some people have said it's going to take down as few as 5. I haven't seen an official number, so I'm interested to see. But they won't take down on any inside of cities, whether it's a county road or not, or on state highway or federal highway jurisdictions. So it's just going to be county-owned and maintained rights of way in Walton County. Paul, you have strong feelings about this.
I do. I think there's 2 issues right now in our country that seems to like be weirdly apolitical. There's people on both sides that hate flock cameras. There's people on both sides that love them. And then the other issue is data centers. I don't know. Like, I understand people's desire for privacy and like they feel like this is an invasion of privacy. But I've done pretty extensive research on these flock cameras, and they're completely customizable. The data retention, who has access to it, the auditing capabilities, they're all configurable based on the municipality's desires. And so, I don't think your license plate is something that needs to be hidden from the police officers and officials. You're already out in public anyway. So this is a tool that I just sort of believe in. I think for the people who hate flock cameras, you hate them until your kid or your grandparent goes missing, and then you wish your municipality had them. There was also an incident recently at a Walton County school where a gentleman was walking around the school and and scooting around on an electric scooter, and he wasn't supposed to be there. And one of those guys escapes in a car. I think we want to track him down and find out why he was there and what he was doing, and these flock cameras help with that. But I do get the concern. I think there's a lot of incorrect information out there. These cameras are not tracking our faces. There's no biometric component. They're literally license plate readers to help catch the bad guys faster. And there's thousands of instances where elderly people and children have been found due to them. And I think they're a net positive. And it sounds like the Walton County decision actually doesn't have that big of a deal because there's not that many cameras that they can control. But I think it's silly.
Well, so I'll say two things. First thing is I don't know how this is exactly a constitutional issue. I don't see, it's public road, public safety. You don't have a right to privacy on a public road kind of thing. That being said, and this is probably where you and I will diverge, this is a relatively conservative, big C community. Small government kind of is the thing around here in the zeitgeist. And to me, this gives big brother, as the kids say. And so to me, it feels ideologically inconsistent with small government, lower taxes, all that kind of stuff. Again, that being said, you can make the argument that these reduce the cost of law enforcement. But I definitely see how people would be worried about these. Like you said in your argument, the guy that was prowling around Walton County, like he didn't have a license plate attached to his face. So if they have cameras like these and they're able to track people, I think that is something to be aware of. The level of concern, I think, varies on personal tolerance. I think I'm probably a little more tolerant than the average person on these, but I think it's fair for people who say, hey, wait a minute, we're small government people. This feels like big government to be an issue.
Yeah, I'm also like, we sort of let the toothpaste out already, and I don't know that we can put it back in the tube. I don't know. I will just fall back on that. I think they're net positive. I think a lot of the fear mongering around them is not accurate. These things are not being monitored at the federal level. Each municipality has control over their own cameras. They are far more, it's like putting a cop on every corner to watch for bad guys. And I think it's a scaling thing. Every tool can be abused. We've seen how guns can be abused by police officers. We've seen how other databases have been abused by police officers. These have been abused by police officers, but there's a lot more checks and balances and audits in place than people realize. I'm pro flock camera, but I understand why people are not.
Yeah, and I mean, we've seen that abuse situation here in Niceville with former police officer here in the city of Niceville who eventually pleaded guilty to misusing them. So people have misused them, but they've also been audited and caught. So it makes a lot of sense to at least have the discussion, at least in my mind, and also to see that there is, I think, wiggle room on both sides of this.
Yeah, it actually serves as a honey trap to catch bad cops if bad cops are searching for specific people numerous times. I mean, the benefit in what Flock will tell you is the data retention can be changed, and everything can be wiped after 3 days, 7 days, 30 days, whatever the number the municipality sets. But most of the time, police officers only need access to about 3 days worth of data to solve a crime because the crime is happening in real time and they're trying to stop it in real time. And beyond kind of 3 to 7 days, unless you're delayed reporting a crime, storing the data is like unnecessary. So people will say that the data is secretly being stored longer and the federal government is watching us, but those things are just not accurate. It's fear mongering.
Well, Feds Watching is a famous 2 Chainz song. Do you know of 2 Chainz, Paul?
I do. Not one of my favorite rappers.
Yeah, 4 bracelets, my friend. Anyway, Speaking of 4 bracelets, that's the number. Walton is hosting Fort Walton Beach. That's going to be a banger. And let's see, Niceville has West Florida Tech, two teams off of pretty painful losses last week.
I think we get that W though.
I would think that that's probably a safe bet. Niceville
we get
losing
that
to
W.
a Prattville team with 9 Division I players smacks a little different than West Florida Tech playing down of classification. and
Somebody
getting
told me
absolutely
Prattville's got a
slapped.
kid who's about to get like a ridiculous NIL. Like he's like NFL level. Like
They
yeah.
have I think they have 5 D1 Power 5 conference commits on that team. So yeah, I mean, it makes sense that the JV scored twice on Niceville or whatever it was. Yeah, not something I would want to do frequently. It reminds me of I think it was maybe 2018 when Niceville played Westlake, Austin Westlake, and just got smoked, bro. And I mean, there's nothing you can do. Westlake is in Texas, and they have access to the biggest, fastest, strongest kids in the Lone Star State. So
Oh yeah, they're all beef fed. But I mean, this just shows us how far we have to come to actually have like a national level program. And we don't necessarily have to have a national level program. We just have to have a really good one in the Panhandle and a really good one statewide.
I can't tell you how excellent I think a 5-5 program that boasts a 99.9% graduation rate and a 0% felony rate is. That's just me though.
Yeah.
So
Well, shout out to our community. But yeah, it's going to be a big weekend for football. And I guess Niceville's playing tonight, Thursday night, instead of
I think that
Friday.
is right. Yeah, they're playing West
Yep.
Florida Tech tonight.
Yep.
And the Jaguars will be an interesting. It'll tell us a lot about where Niceville is specifically, because I think the Prattville game, I think almost everybody in the Panhandle would have lost by at least 3 scores. I think Pace and Choctaw and Mosley probably would keep it closer, but everybody else, man, I don't know. That Prattville team's pretty good.
Well, I'm hoping for a blowout in the other direction tonight, and then if that happens, then we haven't really learned anything. We need a more balanced schedule to figure it out.
Well, that's why God made week 3, Paul.
There we go.
Right on. Well, hey, that's all we have for you on this show tonight, or this afternoon, or whatever time it is. I don't know. It's hard to sleep, man. Anyway, if you have questions, comments, concerns, or anything else, you can hit us up, news@midbaynews.com. And as always, thank you guys so much for being here. Paul, you wanna lead them out?
Data centers are good. Flock cameras are good. Rage bait. Be nice, Niceville. Peace.
They're coming to my house. I just want to point out, Paul, that I'm more ambivalent on those things, so they should come to your house and definitely not mine.